friends, here we go.
Hi, I'm David Wright from Survivor Millennials vs. Gen X, and this is Survivor Talk with Dwaine and David. Whatever generation you're from, these guys are worth listening to.
Welcome! That's right, welcome to Survivor Talk with D&D. We are just two best friends talking about the show we love, Better Call Saul. My name is Dwaine. Oh, did you catch that?
That's coming back.
Coming
it's
back.
Almost back.
I've
Is
already
it back
watched
on?
like 3 episodes, dude. You're behind.
What?
Yeah, this is where Kass actually got her training, was from watching Better Call Saul.
Never seen it.
Oh my gosh. Okay, fine.
And I've only watched like the season and a half of Breaking Bad.
Okay.
Finish Breaking Bad first.
Yeah, you got to do that.
And then go watch Better Call Saul.
So the show we love is Survivor, along with the other one. But my name is Dwaine, and I'm here with my best friend. But before I introduce him, before I give him the introduction that he so greatly deserves, I want to first introduce our esteemed guest for tonight's show. All the way from Survivor Cagayan, Survivor Cambodia, and the great state of Texas, our friend, Kass McQuillen.
Yay!
That's right.
Hey, guys.
How you doing, Kass?
I am great.
I'm so glad you came on.
It's been a while.
I know, it's been a while. That's right.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I guess you want to know who my co-host is, don't you, Kass?
I'm hoping it's Ricky Schroeder.
Well, you know what? I called Ricky, and as tempting as you were to him, he decided that he couldn't do it.
He's divorced.
You know what he said, don't you? He said, "Is that show still on?"
All right. Anyway, what? Oh, yeah. Kass and I are here with my best friend, a captain in the Air Force Auxiliary Civil War Air Patrol, and a huge fan of airplanes, David Jones.
Yeah.
I love planes.
Actually, I
love
love
planes.
I just love watching other people's faces when they ride in planes.
Did you guys watch Her Ponderosa?
No,
not yet. I was waiting for it to pop in my email, and it didn't pop in yet. So I need to watch it.
I caught up on Ponderosa today, and there's a scene where she's totally flirting with the helicopter guy that comes to Ponderosa, and it is special.
Oh, I've got to watch that. Do you remember, Kass? We used to do Ponderosa videos with you, I think. Didn't we?
Yeah, I mean, I think Ponderosa is a big part of the show. You know.
Oh, I know what it was. We did a whole show on everybody's Ponderosa stuff.
Well, I think we did the end of right before the finale with her because we talked about everybody that was at Ponderosa.
To talk about the jury dynamics.
That's right.
Yes.
That would be happening.
Yeah. Well,
I don't know what kind of dynamics are on now, but last week when I watched Haley and Ozzy, I think I fell asleep like halfway through both of them.
Well, they had their own dynamic, but they don't show it on TV. Now, Debbie being there is going to maybe cramp Haley's style. She may be going after Ozzy, but Debbie's going to be
all over Ozzy.
Yeah. Yeah. Very, very. I mean, she practically kissed Sierra's hand off of her arm in the airplane. So,
yeah, I think Debbie is a woman with needs, and she's going to need those. I mean, I saw her flirting with that helicopter pilot, and I was just dying. She
was a flirt instructor probably for 3 years before she got into Survivor.
A flirt instructor?
A flirt
or a flight?
A flirt instructor. So she knows the science of flirting.
Wait, who would go to Debbie for instruction on flirting?
I don't know.
That's why she wasn't a flirt instructor for very long. Nobody came to the class.
So I actually decided I was going to go try to figure out what all Debbie's done in her life. And I went, I found the first link that came up was Martin Holmes Inside Survivor. So I'm giving him credit for it. But this is like as of 2015. That doesn't include this year. But so let's see what all she's done. She has worked as a manufacturing supervisor for Lucent Technologies, where she supervised over 40 union staff in the production of lithium niobate wafer fabrication. She was the quality control manager at Blue Marsh Laboratories, where she performed wet chemistry analysis. She went on to become an electronic counterfeit detection analyst for Silicon Certification Laboratories, where she did the forensic analysis of integrated circuits. Is there anything this woman has not done?
I'll tell
She's
you
a
something.
fitness- Go
I'll
ahead.
tell you something I've done in manufacturing that she hasn't done.
What's that?
I worked in the softness lab for Charmin.
Did you really?
Yes.
People came by and squeezed you?
I had to give little tests where there was samples and they were blind, it was in a box and they had to put their hands in.
Oh,
I had to do tensile tests to see if it would come up part for Bounty and Charmin. I worked for Procter & Gamble.
that is awesome.
So did you
Forget all
squeeze?
these Debbie jobs.
Yeah. Did
So-
you squeeze your way through law school? Is that how you got through law school?
She got squeezed through law
No,
school.
that was right after I was in the military. I took a temp agency job there,
That is awesome.
driver,
So-
and then I got promoted into the softness lab.
But
Wow.
I mean, really though, that's so like they had like 12 different varieties of Charmin. These are the ones that were testing, and you had to test them for softness.
Well, we had all the brands, and people would come in and put their hands in and choose which was their favorite. And then we had to test how long it would disintegrate in the septic tanks. And we had all this funny little lab equipment, like if it got wet, how much it would absorb. And
Well,
you
they
had to
do
run
tend
out
get
on,
wet.
yeah, we had to run out on the floor, grab rolls, and go in and test them like every couple hours. Hey,
Wow.
Sarah, can you let Barney out, please?
So is there a final test?
I use Sherman to this day. Actually, no, now we use Costco brand. Huh?
I use Cottonelle. Actually, there ain't nothing better than those soft wipes. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah,
You
we
don't
have
wa-
a lot of.
You don't
baby
wash your body
wipes.
with the dry washcloth,
Yeah,
right?
Boy,
Just saying.
this is probably the dirtiest rabbit we've ever chased.
All
I'm
right.
just saying.
all right. You can delete all this.
No.
No,
All right.
it's not.
So, by whatever method you use to put our show into your brains, we thank you for doing it. We would like to give a shout out to someone. Her name is, I think it's Nicia, Nicia. What do you think? I think it's Nicia.
Okay.
Y'all are a big help. Thank you. Nicia Salvador. She is our newest D&D patron. She got some spare change she found on a couch and she threw it at us and we took it. So, patron has a special couch coin receptacle. But anyway, I did actually just redesign our whole Patreon page with all kinds of stuff. So if you want to look at it, check it out, stwdd.com/support. Now, Kass, before we begin, I need you to go and find a book. Do you have a book?
I have a book.
Okay. And what book is it?
Well, I thought of a different one, but I couldn't find it. So I have this book.
Wicked. And who wrote it?
This is a picture of
Gregory Maguire.
All right. Just one second while I write that name in here.
Maguire.
Gregory McGuire. All right, Kass, put your left hand on the wicked book and your right hand in the air. Do you, Kass, solemnly swear to have fun, lots of fun, and nothing but fun, so help you, Gregory McGuire?
Sure, yeah.
There you go.
I mean, the book is wicked.
Yeah,
so.
I know.
Because she's gonna have wicked fun. All right.
All right, here we go. All right, y'all. Episode 10, week 8, Survivor Game Changers. A line. Is it a line drawn in concrete or a line in concrete? Or
A line drawn in concrete.
a line drawn in concrete. All right, David. It's all yours, baby.
I just want to quote. This was the Debbie episode.
Yeah.
You know, this was obviously.
Sarah kind of.
Oh well, I'm just talking about in our face. In
Oh,
our face episode, because how can you touch a line like it is inconceivable for anybody to conclude at this point that there is anything other than a strong 6 sitting here
That's right.
tonight?
Inconceivable.
It's inconceivable.
There you go, Kass.
I know. I got your Princess Bride reference.
That's right.
That was awesome.
Inconceivable.
That was my next
That
line.
is-
So thank y'all for reading my notes and taking my next line. I'm just kidding.
That is what 10 million people thought last
Absolutely.
night.
And what's funny is she was an executive producer on that movie. She
was
actually wrote that line.
She was the Sicilian representative. Yeah.
Actually, I think she was the stunt woman.
Probably so.
'Cause-
Probably so.
For
You know.
Andre. Yeah, for Andre.
All right, so we're gonna jump around a little probably, but
Initial
so
thoughts.
now
Sorry.
initial thoughts are gonna come out throughout the whole episode because
No, I have 4. I have 3 initial thoughts.
Okay, Dwayne, if you'd like to share your initial thoughts.
Well, I mean,
Go ahead.
I don't want these things to get said before I get to say them.
I got you. I'm with you now because I got a couple of those too.
Okay, I'm going to catch a lot of flack for this.
Mhm.
But after about 30 seconds of the whole Suri thing, I was ready to move on. I'm just saying.
Okay, so on that note, Kass, I'm gonna let you answer a question. That's a great point, Dwayne. If Kass is in Suri's place last night in the reward challenge, does Kass do like Suri and finish the challenge after Propst's support, or do you just say forget it and call for the boat?
I would flip Jeff off.
And then do what? Get the boat?
Maybe moon him.
Oh.
And get the boat. Yeah. There is no need to be expending this extra energy. You're out there, you know, you're not eating. She can't make it on the platform. It's hard to get on those platforms. Before I went to play, I went to pools and just practiced getting out just on the edge.
Yeah.
To do that.
Yeah. Especially when it's moving. It's a moving platform. It's not like it's solid and stays there waiting for you to pull up. It goes up. So if I try to get on it, it would go under for a minute. I'd push it under me, climb on top, and then it would come up and lift me up out of the water.
And
but
then, go ahead.
Suri herself said she's always just done the minimum in Survivor in terms of really playing the game other than the social game and strategy. And she, you know, this is the first time she's kind of embracing it and trying to do the challenges. So that made me lose some respect for her as a player, really, because I've always liked her. Yeah. But when you say, you know, I usually come out here and kind of don't give it 100% because I know I'm so good at one aspect, I don't have to do anything else. Mm-hmm. It diminishes your status, in my opinion, because I'm not really an athlete, but you'd never see me giving up ever in a challenge. And I know my limits, but I would never quit. Never. Well,
you showed that when you came back from behind and
like that. What you're talking about?
Yeah, I believe that is it.
That's it.
Yeah.
So I don't. It's not in my vocabulary. To just do the least. I lost a little respect, actually. I know Jeff likes his talk show moments.
Yeah.
It seems like the seasons are getting more and more about Jeff and what he wants to push than the game.
Right.
So.
Well, I mean, right. That's what you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't appreciate all that.
Yeah. Well, do you feel like Suri said, I want to finish this, or do you feel like Probst said, hey, why don't you finish it? It'll make a great TV moment and we'll help you up on the platform or something.
I'm guessing that Probst initiated that.
Yeah, because according to the edit, he says, we will all stay here if you want to finish this challenge, which I think he said, we're going to stay here until you finish that challenge because it's going to be a great moment. But I mean, and because at the end of the episode, he says, you wanted to finish it.
That's what he said.
But,
yep.
Yeah. But I'm like, no. The edit doesn't lie, Jeff. You said we will stay if you want to finish. You're about to drown right now, and Sarah's helping you, but we will stay if you want to finish it. And she, she's like, well, you kind of put me in a moment now, so I guess I'm going to do it. I'm not saying she thought that, but
you started on the couch.
We would have seen it if she said, I want to do this for my kids. I want to finish. I guarantee you.
Yeah. I mean, well,
it was forcing it. Jeff likes to force everything out there, So the show really ruined everything for him.
One thing that actually hurt me in the first time I watched it, was I didn't catch that. I caught they did a schoolyard pick, but I didn't pay attention who the captains were.
Right.
So I didn't realize Suri was a captain.
Yeah.
So the whole time I'm doing this, my wife's sitting over there and I'm like, what idiots? They picked Suri over Michaela? What idiots? Really? And now we're going to get 5 minutes of all this drama? They could have just picked Michaela. And then I went back and watched it and I went, oh, okay. But still, Michaela over Zeke, Michaela over other people. Anyway.
But I don't think Michaela is showing herself to be a team player. So maybe you don't, I mean, she's kind of getting this really kind of a turd at it, Yeah. She doesn't seem to care about anybody else. So when you're going to go on a reward, do you want that person with you, even if you win? camp life?
I don't know. Maybe she gets happier when she's more comfortable.
She's always eating.
Maybe if Debbie was kissing her hand on the plane, she would have been happier.
Well, so that's a good follow-up question then, Kass. If you're a captain and you get to pick players and it comes down to somebody you can tolerate but isn't the best in physical challenges, or somebody that's really good in physical challenges but you would rather not spend the day with, which one do you pick?
I want to win. So I pick whoever's going to help me win.
So you tolerate the attitude just to get some reward.
Because everyone's got an attitude. But the other thing is maybe nobody sees Michaela as a key player. So they don't feel like going on a reward with her or staying in camp is going to make a difference in the long run. Mm-hmm. But you also want to pick people that you want to go on a reward with for strategic reasons as well.
Yeah.
Like Brad had the confessional where he said, I didn't want to go with my whole core group. I wanted to split them up and have trusted people on the beach and have a couple with me. Yeah. That was a smart play by Brad. So I don't know how the captains were picked. I'm wondering if they did a rock draw or something.
Yeah, they did a rock draw.
Okay.
So since you brought that up, was it smart to leave your right-hand man and your number 6 on your 6-person alliance back at camp?
Well, they don't think she knows she's number 6.
Right.
As someone who's been the number 6 with the same person who was the number 6 this week,
yes.
You know, I relate completely to this episode, and I mean, it's Sarah had called me and said, "You got this week is going to be exactly like our merge, except
really?
and she said, except I'm you."
Wow.
And so it was very true, and I think Debbie was Sarah.
Yeah.
You know, Andrea was kind of Trish, Andrea and Suri. There were so many parallels there.
Yeah.
And
was it fun to watch? I mean, was it a different show for you to watch, or a different episode for you last night because of that?
It was fun to watch because it was the very person that was dismissive of me, not listening or asking for my input and thinking they were running the show that got blindsided in my season.
Right.
Was now the person who has grown and learned, I think, from her prior season, and she's totally changed. She's now a mom, and you know, her life is very different than the first time she played. So I liked it. I liked seeing Sarah evolve and understand that position and understand those things when you have the numbers, especially if you know you're on the bottom.
Right.
You know, and we've had a few talks. I mean, I've talked to her a lot since then, since Kagian, and she knows.
So just because I don't want to go out with 0 points, because my buddy Troyzan disappeared for the last month of this season in confessionals and everywhere else, I actually changed my winner pick in our fun office pools just for fun. And I changed it to Sarah because I saw Sarah in the middle like she was before, but like you said, playing a different game, playing a more criminal game, you know, thinking that way, as in from the law side, you want to capture people. From the criminal side, you want to keep getting away with what you're getting away with. And after this episode, I couldn't have been more happy. I can't imagine getting a better edit from one episode, and she's gotten good edits before, but my goodness, what an edit she got from this episode.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, they showed her playing very level-headed, weighing everything, not getting power hungry, making a decision for her own game.
Right.
And she's really, even coming into the season, she's kind of in that great spot, like the Amber and the Wentworth, and, you know, where she's kind of a non-entity for most of these people. She's just seen as this loyal player who got blindsided, got a little cocky and got blindsided. She never really, no one got to know her as a strategic player in Kagian from watching.
Right.
So, I mean, I talked to her before she left, and I said, you are in a great position if you don't blow it. You know, if you just play every day of the game and keep your wits about you.
Yeah.
And I think she's doing great. You know, she's in a great position. Everybody kind of trusts her.
Yeah.
Yep.
You know, I don't know after last night, you know, does she have 0% chance of winning? I think in a returnee season, it's much easier to blindside people and flip than it is on a new player season, because people don't take it as personal.
Yeah.
Yeah. They respect it. Yeah.
Just thinking back over the season, I don't think she's had anything negative shown of her at all that I can remember. And then then last night's episode was just, I mean, so they just showed so much of her doing so many strategic things and how she worked through each one. And of course, then they tried to make us think that she really did try to make her decision at Tribal. Michaela, look, if Michaela brings out, I have this as one of my things. If Michaela breaks out the food and drink at Tribal, watch out because something's going down and Michaela's on the right side of it, right? Michaela knew. And Sarah did a great job of acting like she was with that other tribe.
Right.
When all along, just like, what's her face did? She's already gone. What was her name, David? She won twice. What was her name?
Sandra.
Yeah, Sandra. Just like Sandra did. I know. Acting like, everything was great. Everything was one way. And then Sarah just blindsides them. And I love it because Michaela just, I could watch Michaela all day long. But anyway.
Really? That really bugged me, her eating at Tribal.
Oh, no.
Just like the sipping tea thing. I just feel like if she were a better player and if she weren't just playing to the audience with that, because as we see, that's the first time in her life she's ever not got picked for a team. Trust me, she's a fit woman. She's very capable. There's something going on there with the personality. And then she's just playing to the camera doing that crap.
Well, do you think so? Or, well, obviously you do think so. From my standpoint, based on what she did last time and this time, both of them seem more directed at the people who thought they had everything going. And then she was able to go, no, you didn't. So for me, it was more like to them than it was to the camera. But
is that very smart gameplay?
Well, no, but she's not playing very smart.
I mean, I think she does it for the camera.
Okay.
I mean, if you're out there playing, why would you do it for the other players who are going to be on the jury if you're going to make it to the end sipping your tea and eating your coconut?
Because I don't think she cares. I don't think she cares. I mean, I think she realized, I'm not saying you're wrong because I don't know. I'm just saying that I could see it both ways. And I don't think she cares because I figure she thinks I'm not going to win. Everybody hates me. And so I'm going to go out being who I am and being Chaos Michaela. There you go.
She doesn't have any power to be Chaos anything.
That's true.
I think it's I'm kind of sorry, Dwaine. I'm kind of in agreement with Kass on this because she is actually flipping off the people that could be voting for her in a couple of weeks or a couple of days.
Or aligning. Yeah, or aligning with them.
Well, she's flipping off the people that are getting voted out that are going on the jury. So she's in about a week or so, she's going to have to ask them for money, or for their votes. And they can say, weren't you eating coconut like popcorn at my tribal council? And weren't you sipping your tea and stuff? And well, that's just game. And I don't know. I play and coach and watch too many sports where sportsmanship to me is the epitome of the game. And I know this is Survivor. I've never played Survivor, so I don't know what it's like out there, but Millennials and Gen X showed a lot of respect when those people got voted out. There was a lot of appreciation. There was a lot of respect. And like Kass said, when you see big moves and big plays in an all-star season, you got to respect it as much as hate it. So to me, this is kind of like, sorry to say, it's kind of like a brat. That's just how it's coming across to me. She's getting her way. I don't know how much she's doing to earn it, but she's getting her way and still in the game. And it's almost like she thinks she's going to be taken to the end. And I don't know if she's going to be taken to the end or not, because every week we get somebody saying she needs to go because I don't want to be around her anymore. So that's not somebody that's going to win. So is she going to be satisfied with third place in the tie seat with no votes?
Maybe she is. Maybe she's playing, just to get to the end and get the most money she can get as a GOAT. Maybe she realizes, at this point in the game, you kind of start to see, especially with these big alliances, that it's not easy to get to the end if you're not in one of them. And then to get the jury votes. And she may feel like, oh, I've already lost the jury. I want to get $100,000 still, so I'll take second place or third place.
Right.
Wasted this much time out here.
Yeah, she was a Zeke argument away from being voted out over Haley. So she could, like you said, she could say, you know what, I'm not going to win this season. There's no way. They don't like me. That's fine. So I'm going to do whatever I got to do to be dragged to the end, and I'll take, you're right, the paycheck I get for third place.
Yeah, and I'll get on camera as much as I can, rolling my eyes, eating coconut, drinking tea, and I'll get asked back.
Right.
That's something. I don't know, though. She also didn't have the benefit of watching her own season. And I personally don't think that people should go play back-to-back because I don't think you can learn and grow. You got to watch your season. Then you got to watch another season that you're not involved with. So you get your head out of being on Survivor.
Yeah.
You know, and it takes a long time to do that, especially your first season. You're just thinking, you know, oh, I'm so great and I'm going to get this great edit or whatever. And if you don't see that and see how you're portrayed, job, which I think she thinks, because she got asked back. She was rewarded for really not doing much her first season. So why do more this season?
I'd said last week that I would have loved for her to have had a season off and then met some people like Sari or Kim Spradlin or somebody like that could have said, hey, if you go back, you need to work on this. Or if you go back, you need to do this. And heard this stuff before the 18th day where she'd already unfortunately made a bad name for herself at camp. You know, that was a great conversation, but to me, it's all gone out the window now. She's back on her own. I'm going to speak the truth. That's just what I do. Okay. Then you're dealing your own hand then.
She is making zero effort to do anything.
Well, the effort she's making is to eat all the coconut.
Yeah, everyone's mad because she's eating everything. There's always someone. There's always one or two people that are eating more than everyone else.
Right. I just don't think she cares. I don't think she cares how far she goes, other than, sure, as long as y'all want to take me, I'm going to go with you. Mm-hmm. But at this point, I think she's just like, I'm not going to win, and I'm going to have fun not winning until I get up there or whatever. It just doesn't sound to me like she's trying to do anything positive.
But what's bugging, I guess, for me is the fact that I'm not going to win came from her. Not anybody else's decision, not anybody else's move. It came from the way she's played this game and how she hasn't changed, I guess, from adapted to the game, come back for a second chance.
She was trying earlier with her and Sari and stuff. She was trying.
Look, that was Sari trying.
Yes, that was the masterclass of Sari.
That was Sari, not Michaela.
And we got more of that this week too. So
all right. As much as I loved watching Sari last week, I got really tired of her this week.
I blame Jeff Probst for that.
Yeah.
I blame all the Midwestern housewives who didn't watch the Jeff Probst show and forced him back into our Survivor arena.
Yeah. Wow.
All right. So one of my initial reactions is I have a question for both of you. Are we being pranked? Because I'm not completely buying the whole Andrea versus Zeke war that's going on, because these two are from the same area. They knew each other years before they got in the show. And it just seems like they're saying really good negative lines about each other to camera and to other people. But at the same time, they suddenly were back together voting again. You know, and just
I didn't know that they knew each other.
Well, yeah, they're both in the New York area.
Well, that doesn't mean they know each other, but
they do know each other. Other survivors have said they've known each other for years. They played like Survivor Brooklyn together, I think.
Oh.
They know each other. They knew each other before Zeke played his first season. And they're supposedly pretty good friends.
Oh, well then, yeah, absolutely.
But Brad and Troyzan are buddies in real life. And Sierra is great friends with Troyzan as well.
Oh, there you go.
So
if this is a prank, we'll never hear about it or see it confess about it, because it would have happened pre-game, and nothing is allowed to happen pre-game. So it's never going to come out if this was.
Either that or they're doing it out there on the island.
Or it's like Stephen Fishbach and Spencer, who were friends outside of the game and pre-gamed, and then you get split up and things change and you decide you're going a different way, and then someone ends up very hurt that you didn't, you went and visited and hung out and did your stuff together, and then someone went back on their word.
Yeah.
So that could be, Andrea seems pretty peeved about everything.
Yeah.
Like legitimately angry.
Right.
And so, it can go either way, these pregame alliances. We saw in Cambodia that some people really were hurt when people flipped on them. Who, there was a lot of pre-gaming in Cambodia, and a lot of those people did not fare well and were very bitter.
One of my fantasy strategies for never playing in the game, but one of my strategies, number 39, is find the meanest person out there, preferably in the other tribe, and somehow connect and say, hey, let's work together, because they'll never expect us to be working together. You know, we can argue, we can fuss, we can not get along at camp, but in the end, we're working together to get to the end, and we can help each other and just never speak again about it. But that's just one of my strategies I've thought about, is finding somebody that I don't get along with, and just we suddenly work together. So, because there's a line, because this gave the opportunity, this breakup with Andrea and Zeke, and they made a good case for why Zeke wanted to make the breakup, because he didn't like not being in control. I understand that. I respect that. But Andrea now, this whole episode goes around saying, I've got no one, as in take me with you. Let me know what you're doing and I'll go along with you, because I have no one. At the reward, I have no one. I feel alone. I don't know why he did what he did. So if it's not a prank, then good on her for playing it. But if it is, good on them for getting it across that way, because I just wonder, you know, in the back of my mind, if this is just their pregame ruse that they worked on and hoped that it would work out. They'd get on the same tribe to do it.
It could be. That'd be pretty elaborate.
Yeah.
And at day 26 in the game, you're probably not thinking about what you talked about in a New York City cafe.
But they could also be talking about it on the beach in places where they're not seen. So I don't know. Yeah, I hope I'm wrong, because it's good drama.
Zeke, I think she's realizing that Zeke is just not a good player. You know, Zeke feels the need to tell everybody everything all the time.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so he's not a good alliance member.
Yeah.
And he's trying to play both sides way too much. And he did it in his first season. And this is not watching your season.
Right.
And not living through a cycle of Survivor to get some perspective.
Right.
I mean, and then when you're asked back and you right away and you haven't seen what they're going to portray you as or how you played, because your mind, you think you did great. No matter who you are, you think you did great and you were wrong. You know,
right.
That's just the nature of the game. It's like, right. I was so screwed by everyone. So yeah, I don't know.
So last week we saw Zeke go to Sierra, and to show what Sierra thought of Zeke, we immediately got her going back to Andrea or Sheree and telling them flat out what Zeke said, as in he's flipping on you guys. So then this week he goes back to that group, votes with that group, and blindsides one of Sierra's people. And then apparently next week he goes back to Troy, Zan, and Brad to talk to them about making another flip. Are we about to see the last episode for Zeke, or is he becoming someone that you want to take to the end because nobody's going to like him?
It can go either way there.
That's not a good. No, it's a yes or no question.
Oh, okay. Well, sorry, I got interrupted. What?
It could go either way. That sounds like a tribal council answer. Yes, Jeff, I could vote this way.
Don't call her out
that way.
No, sorry. Well, I mean, I don't think you can play like that when there's 10 people left. You know, there's plenty of numbers out there to be had, and if you're the person who's flipping and flopping, unless you got a pocket full of idols, you're going to get targeted eventually.
Yeah.
But the other interesting thing about Zeke to me when I rewatched is who was wearing his jacket this whole episode? Members only jacket. Sarah Lacina.
Yeah.
She's wearing his jacket at Tribal. She's wearing it at camp. There's
at challenges, yeah.
At challenges. And in my experience, the people you share your clothes with are your friends, you know, or your alliance members. So maybe Sarah and Zeke have a tighter alliance than we know of, because she's wearing that thing the whole time.
Yeah.
You know, and she has her own sweatshirt. She has her own jacket out there. So
yeah, I like Sarah's position right now, because from this tribal council, she can very easily tell the truth and say Debbie went to the other tribe and started recruiting. She went to Aubrey. She was telling lies about things, but she tried recruiting. And I'm sorry that I didn't tell you guys about this, but it hurt, and I felt betrayed by her, and I didn't feel like I could trust her. And I just went with their vote. But I believe Sierra was sincere about going to the end with Sarah. She even admits privately we have a connection. She really feels close to her, and why not take Debbie? So Sierra is playing a wonderful social game, I think. And I think she could make her way back into that group if she wanted to. But this vote, what I like, and this is selfishly me, what I like about this vote is that it shuffles the deck. There are a few enough players that this could really shuffle the deck for the players that are left in the season. We may not have two solid groups anymore. We may have a good shuffled deck now.
Yeah, and again, being a returning player season, people aren't going to be as hurt. Like when I did it in Cagayan, And I tried to go to Tasha, tried to go to Spencer the next day to explain my reasoning, and they wouldn't talk to me, you know. But I think when you're in a returning player season, most people feel like this is it, and I need to be open to anything, you know, to working with whoever. You don't have that luxury. You're working with more savvy game players instead of, you know. So I think people will be receptive to her. I hope so for her sake. But
so,
we'll see.
Dwaine, you got any more initial reactions?
Oh yeah,
These have been great so far because it's taken us about 20 minutes.
It's wonderful. Debbie's hard. Okay, Debbie's hard enough to watch when she's just playing the game, but when she's confident, it's almost turn off the TV. I can't stand it anymore. Annoying.
She is really destroying the older woman archetype.
Yeah.
So I mean, she's like Coach Philip, you know,
Yeah.
secret agent levels at this point.
I honestly, Kass, I gotta say, I think she's so far out there that I don't know if she's hurting them, because everybody's looking at her going, no, she's not anything like anybody else. You know, she's so off and so out of there that I don't know if it's hurting as much as it maybe even be helping them. Because, like, thank God they're not all like her.
Take your dog in, please.
I think after Tribal, I think production called each other in their little group text and said, hey, you know those 659 confessionals you have of Debbie saying how concrete everything is? Pick the best 12 because we're going to use them in this episode. Because we got them every 5 minutes about how good tight they were.
Well, kind of like when in the other few episodes back when she was talking about how great she was at the challenge.
Yeah. Oh, God.
And then the footage shows contrary, right?
Yes.
But in the reward challenge, she did kind of blow right through this reward challenge. I got to give her credit. She went right through the streak. She bounced, beamed everything. She swam through everything. She was quick in this particular reward challenge. Too bad we won't see her in any other challenges.
Too bad. I'm happy.
Well, she's super fit. I mean, she's in great shape. She has like an 8-pack. I don't know if you've heard.
Yeah, I think I saw that.
She's the creator of the 8-pack. Yes.
Yeah. I can't unsee that.
Oh, man.
You know what's funny is in her Ponderosa video, the doctor says it's the least weight loss he's ever seen from a contestant. It's like half a pound.
That happened to her last time. Also,
these jury members have only lost a few pounds.
Yeah.
In the game 20 days, but these rewards, my gosh, that reward feast.
Yeah, they're huge.
I've never seen anything like that. I mean, I got some bad draws there.
Yeah. All the Survivor Africa players are just like, we hate you, CBS.
Yeah, a lot of people are. Yeah.
34 seasons, and I get the one season where lions are trying to kill me from outside where I'm sleeping.
Yeah.
Everyone else.
That was great TV. That was great TV, though, hearing those lions outside their fences.
It's like I was sucking juice out of dirt, and these guys are getting amazing rewards.
An exile boat. I mean,
yeah.
Yeah. It's gone soft for sure.
Oh, and speaking of soft, this was from the chat. I'm trying to remember who said it, because now I think it was Bruce. He said, how many advantages did they hide this game before they just finally broke down and wrote secret advantage on one and stuck it out and everybody could see it? It's like, let's see how many things we can help you have.
Now, that was great. That was one of my favorite moments of the whole episode because it showed Michaela being Michaela and Sarah being Sarah.
Yeah.
And I had a discussion about this at work today because they asked me, how in the world did Sarah pull that off? And I kind of knew, but I actually read Dalton's review, and he explained it very well that those boats that they go in to make those rides, they have to go underneath. They don't get to sit up top and enjoy the sun. Cass can probably attest to this, that they have to go underneath. So Sarah just slowed down and made sure she was the last one. Because when you look at her getting the boat, there's like nobody in the boat. Like, where's everybody else? Because they're already down at the bottom of the boat.
And she even faces the boat when she's untying it. Like, who cares if anybody sees me?
Right.
And
she can see them. Right. Well, exactly.
Well, you can't really see because usually there's a member standing in the doorway of the boat, like blocking any view. and you're on complete lockdown down there, and there's no way to see out. So once you're in, you're in. And she probably, I was thinking about how she did this to get from one platform to the other. She probably hung back and said, oh, I got to go pee, so I'm going to jump in the water. And that, to me, would explain everyone was getting on one platform.
Right.
And she probably said, oh, hold up, I got to go pee. Because usually it's, you know, a 30, 40-minute boat ride to wherever you're going.
Right.
Space, especially with that many players in the game.
So, and Dalton brought up another good point in that if Sari had not gotten exhausted like she had, they would have been told to swim to their boat like the winning group did. But instead, the boat came around the other side, which gave Sarah the chance to see the advantage and go off that way and get the advantage.
Yeah.
So,
oh, see, I was thinking Probst is like, we're not going to make you swim to the land 500 yards away, as though they were going to, you know. Like,
well, they had to swim to their boat. Their boats were just at a camera shot outside the challenge.
I think normally they wouldn't cross that barrier and show the boat at all. He would just say, all right, guys, swim to shore. And the viewer would think we all swam to shore from there.
Exactly. That's my point.
Okay. I got you.
But because this is the first time we've seen, you see all the crew members on the boat, the guys, their legs and stuff. The first time, what did they call that? Like the fourth wall or the third
wall,
something like that.
That actually happens later in the episode too.
You know, this is breaking the Emmy wall, is what this is. This is empathy. So
empathy wall. I thought you meant Emmy.
I did. At first I said Emmy wall because this is his Emmy season. This is what he's going for.
Oh man, that ain't gonna happen.
I don't know. I think he's just over the top with his meddling.
Well, okay, actually, no, I'm not even going to go there. So we'll just be quiet. Go ahead.
I wish he wouldn't comment on challenges as much. I'd rather than put mics near the survivors and let's hear their comments. Let's hear what they're mumbling. I'm just about over his challenging commentary.
Well, we're always mic'd. Every contestant is mic'd during.
Okay, that's true. That's true. Well, then turn the mics up.
But
yeah,
he bleep out words.
We all wish he wouldn't talk during challenges.
Especially when he tells people they're panicking. That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's great. How crazy is it that Michaela's actually cheering on whenever she's been over there pouting for the last hour and a half? Yeah.
She was pretty darn pouty over there.
Oh, yeah. She was. I mean, she was so rude and upset, she didn't even tell Sari about the steps on the other side.
Oh, man.
That's good.
Thank you. I'll be here all night.
All right, you got any other initial reactions?
No. Are you kidding? We're
only 45 minutes in.
We're at the reward challenge already, so it doesn't really matter. We just
right before that, everybody listens now. Everybody that's watched more than 2 seasons, they know there's kind of an edit to look for sometimes. And last season I enjoyed it because the edit wasn't obvious and stuff. But Sarah is getting so many money comments. You know, good comments about how, you know, there's a line in the sand, there's a line in the concrete. Well, the tide comes up and the line gets washed away. So, and that's how we want to watch. That's how I want to watch Survivor. I don't want to watch one tribe systematically vote out the other tribe, even though I would want to do that in the game. I don't want to watch that. I'd rather see the social game, the conniving, the strategy. I want to see them play a game where they go down swinging. Like Michaela said, I might go out, but I'm going to go out swinging with everything I got. So I just liked how she said that in Zeke's line about shuffling the deck. Somebody's gone. Everything could change. So,
yeah, they were with 11 people. You can't feel safe with 11 people.
Right.
Yeah.
And do you think Sierra's going to be the first person to use that advantage, right?
I don't know. They gave her that quote, right?
I think she is. Yeah.
I have something to say about that.
Because like Dwaine said earlier, she hasn't really had a misstep yet. You know? Do you have something you want to say about that?
It's not just an extra vote. It's more than just an extra vote.
Yeah.
Not only is it an extra vote, like Kass just said, you steal someone's vote. That has more power than just an extra vote. That's all. That could be 3 votes.
Well, that's the advantage you use in a tie in a 5-5 or 4-4 people situation.
Right.
So, you know, when people start talking about rocks and tiebreakers, they say, nah, they ain't gonna happen. So
Vader Girl wants to know if Kass has been to the Texas bar yet. No, just kidding. Have you taken the Texas bar yet?
I'm taking it in July.
There you go. So there you go, Vader girl. Oh, and Tina wants to know if you like living in Texas. She
I love it.
She didn't listen to our last show with you where you talked about your PTA meeting. But we won't go into that. That was so funny, Kass. That was so funny.
I love it. You know, I've settled into the burbs.
Oh, I love Texas. I will be there again someday.
All right, so we've spent more time on the reward challenge than the episode did. But were you surprised, Kass, when Sarah jumped in and Probst just went along right with it? You ever seen that before?
To help Suri or to go get
to help Suri.
Well, we've seen that before.
Well, I'm guessing that was all very contrived. You know, I don't know. I think Sarah said, "Can I go help her?"
Yeah.
During the challenge, like it was obvious they were going to lose.
Yeah.
Or maybe they had already lost. You never know with the miracle of television.
Right.
And she just said, "Hey, I'm going to go help her get on the damn platform."
Right. Yeah, because all we heard was Tarzan say, "Can someone go help her?" And boom, she's in the water. She's a police officer. She's a rescue person.
Yeah, she noticed the tag was wrong.
Yeah, she noticed there was someone drowning, and Probst was egging that person on.
Yes. He was like, "Scuba guy, pull her leg a little bit more.
Yeah.
Pull it down a little bit more."
No, I mean, I think it just shows how great a social game Sarah's playing too, that she was like, "I'm in, I'm going."
Yeah.
You know, and you could see Suri's not an athlete. And when you see your tribe mate struggling that much and, you know, she wants to help. Yeah.
So you think, you talk about being contrived, you think Probst went as far as saying, "If only we had a public servant that would go rescue someone," and then she's in the water.
"I would adjust the rules as we play."
Well, Suri did call her Officer Sarah at Tribal.
Yeah, she did.
You know, and who knows how they're playing up her public service and everything.
Man. Oh yeah, yeah.
You know, I think, you know, Sarah in Cagayan had the badge alliance with Tony, and that was betrayed, and there was all the drama surrounding that.
Mm-hmm.
So, and she definitely got the better end of that edit back then of being the loyal police officer.
Right. Oh.
Although she was at the same time throwing Tony's name out. So, you know, like, what people remember is that Tony's the one who broke that. So,
one thing I liked about this challenge was, I know everybody's thinking poor Suri, but I was thinking poor winning tribe, because if you cheer while Suri's over there drowning, well, you are just an evil person. You know?
But you're probably not watching the other tribe. When you're that far ahead, you're just like, "Come on, let's finish.
Yeah, but the music gave it away, Kass.
I know, and we hear the music when we're out there. It's like it's blaring from like stereos on boats.
It's like, oh, well, obviously the blue team feels bad about what they're doing because the music is sad, you know. But still, you know, but you are in a situation though where if it's as obvious as it seemed that you're winning and Suri's not even near on the platform yet, that you would have to be cautious about how much you cheer when you win, I would think.
Well, they did cheer for her too to complete her top Jeff Probst show moment.
Right.
So again, we're talking more about this reward than we have all the rewards combined for the last 2 years. But I got one more thing I want to say about it. Does this help Suri at all? Being the social gamer she is, the strategist she is, the alignment person she is, the fact that she is not a challenge winner or hardly a challenge competitor, possibly, does it help her in the sense that they could say, "You know what? Zeke is better at puzzles. We can get rid of Suri next time." Or Andrea's a physical threat. We can get rid of Suri next time. Does it give her a little bit of an out that she could last 3 more days in the game, or 2 more days because there's so many people left in this game? Allow her to stay maybe 1 more tribal in the game where she could do some more magic and work. Is it actually in her favor that she didn't complete this challenge?
Well, I don't think it matters with Suri. I don't think she's ever been a great challenge competitor. I think she's always one of those players that everybody says we can get rid of her anytime because, you know, she's not physical. She's not going to win individual immunity. So I don't think it helped her. I don't think it hurt her. You know, I just think she's not good at challenges, and everybody knows that. If you've watched the show, it's not like she's ever won immunity or really carried her tribe in any way.
Right.
Yeah, but if I'm in the minority, I want to be the person they could get rid of anytime, not the Ozzy that has to go next, or the challenge or the Malcolm that has to go next.
Yeah, but then also when there's this many people playing, people will target you for various reasons,
Right.
A lot of times the merge boot, like Haley, she's not a challenge beast. She's not in anything, but they need to start winnowing numbers.
Mm-hmm.
And so, if everyone can agree on Sari because she's had this powerful moment, but I also think, she kind of broke down and was thinking about her family. And when you're out there and when you regress into that mode where you have those moments where you have an epiphany or you start to think about home, it takes you out of game mode.
Yeah.
As a player. So I feel like bad for her because she had this emotional moment that we haven't seen from her where she's pushing herself and realizing that Survivor can be a personal journey as well.
Mm-hmm.
And so I feel like maybe that's a point where she's going to play the game a little differently now, like go kill some chickens and catch some fish and just really revel in the experience.
Yeah.
Which I hope she does because I don't see her coming back for a fifth time.
Yeah, because we've had this 2 weeks in a row now where we get her breaking down, talking about family, letting them down in the other challenge, not being able to finish the puzzle. And so my other question is, do you think we saw what we saw of Sari this week because Sari's story is about to end?
I do feel that way. I feel like, she's the woman who got up off the couch. How long ago was that? It was her first
like
season.
25, 34 years. I don't know. It seems like forever.
She was a teenager.
But no, she was probably in her young 30s.
Right.
She's now in her mid 40s. It's harder.
It was before season 16 because that was Micronesian. She was a favorite in that. So it was in the early teens, I think she played.
So it's a different game when you play in your 30s versus your 40s. When you're a young mom on a lark, getting off the couch and doing something and coming back and leaving your life and everything out for a fourth time,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think each time you're asked back, I can only imagine you really have to think about why you're going. And I think it's all hitting her right now. Game, she's older. She knows who she is, and it just becomes harder, I think.
Right. Mark Percy says it was, Probe said 12 years.
Okay.
12 years ago, you got off the couch.
24 seasons ago. That's so much Survivor that's happened since then.
Yeah.
So she was 33 the first time she played.
Wow. And still playing a remarkable social game. Because as much as it looks like Sarah made the switch, it was Sari to me that planted the seed that caused that.
I thought it was Andrea too.
Yeah.
I'm going to give some credit there.
Okay. So on the reward, I love the blunt questions. I love the honesty. I don't think it's all honesty, but I love that they flat out say, "What's going on with you and Zeke, Andrea?" Because what's happening there? Everybody thought y'all were friends in New York. That we've known each other for years. So what's going on, and why are you two suddenly trying to rip each other's head off? And she doesn't understand it. This is where she gives the line that now I feel like I have nobody. Does anybody want to date me? Does anybody want to add me to their group now? I'm a number.
Made the merge. Yeah, I made the merge. I'm dateable.
I'm sitting with the so now I divide these alliances in old school alliance and new school alliance. I think Aubrey and Zeke are old soul players. I think the other group is like a new school alliance, and that's kind of how I see them separated. And Andrea, I just see her saying, "You know what? I don't care what school you are. If you're the majority, I will be in your majority because I am alone now. I feel like I have no one." Well, what about Sari? What about Aubrey? What about Sarah? Well, she's lost Zeke, so now she feels like she has no one. So I just thought it was a great line by her. It was a good comeback for her. Forget the Zeke part. I feel like I'm by myself now.
Yeah.
One thing I noticed about that was we're getting a lot this episode of Sierra talking about how confident she is and things like that, which to me seems like a setup for a couple episodes down the road where it all blows up in her face. Could be that way. One thing that I thought was hilarious was Debbie thinking that because she is in this auxiliary thing or whatever, that she's been on planes a lot. So she's used to being on a plane. the others aren't used to being on a plane. So it's fun to see them get excited about being on a plane. No, they were excited because they were seeing this amazing, beautiful, I mean, what an amazing sight. But Debbie's thinking, they're excited to be on a plane.
Well, she is a captain in the Civil Air Patrol.
Exactly.
I don't know. I think they were excited because they won and they were going to go eat. And they were just
if I'm
looking.
on that plane,
I'm like, where's the picnic? That's what I'm thinking.
That's what I'm looking. Forget the water, forget the beaches. I want to see where the food is because that's what I'm about to attack.
Right.
You're living on a beach. You're seeing the sunsets and the sunrises. You're hungry. That's why they're excited. They're hoping there's brownies. Some people hope there's coleslaw.
And coleslaw for Aubrey. Yes.
Yeah.
My point was Debbie was totally aloof, totally wrong in why they were excited. Regardless of why they were excited, she was totally wrong.
And that's why production loves Debbie. You're right, because they will show her out in left field while everybody else is playing football. She's in the baseball field and left field, and everybody else is on a different sport altogether.
Yeah. Debbie is fascinating.
Yeah.
She's a fascinating person.
At least she's not, trying to finish the challenge at the wrong end of the challenge and then running down to the other end of the challenge without anything in her hand, and like somebody else in the episode later on.
Yeah. We're not there yet. We'll get there.
Well, we could be.
We could be. But first, we're back at camp where Sarah and Troyzan are keeping their ears to the ground to find out what's going on. Meanwhile, Sari and Sarah are having a hammock chat where I thought the seed was first planted, because I think Sarah is completely in the middle, keeping her options open on both sides, committing to anybody that asks her, but at the same time doing a lot of listening. And Sari says, who's running the show? And, they agree it's Sierra and Brad. And Sari just starts laying the groundwork for, I think, to help Sarah make this decision as to, that once my people are gone, you're next, because you're at the bottom of this group. You're not at the top of this group. That's what you want to tell somebody who's unsure where they are, is that they're at the bottom of the group.
Well, it was really Debbie who told her by going to Aubrey. I mean, Debbie really screwed herself by telling that lie to Aubrey, and then Aubrey going to Sarah, because Aubrey doesn't like Debbie from past season issues. And people carry that stuff with them. They carry their prior seasons. So, I think it was really Debbie that sealed her own fate. I mean, Sarah was probably going to stick with her alliance until she heard that Debbie did that.
Oh, I love it.
No matter what. What?
I love it because you just took us past the immunity challenge, and that excites me.
Yeah. Well, the immunity challenge was pretty boring.
Well, I know, because I was just now thinking I loved how Aubrey just kind of broke that fourth wall again, and Debbie's saying, I know you're smart, whatever, so you wouldn't dare do that. And Debbie just goes,
yeah.
I loved it. I about cheered at that point. All right. Sorry, David. David's like,
no, it's fine. No, but she's making a good point but I still think it started with Sari. It may have started before, it may have started later, but I think Debbie's actions with Aubrey only concreted Sarah's decision on what to do and where to go from there. I think there was a lot of little things for Sarah that helped her make her decision, but I think the final straw was Debbie talking to Aubrey. Absolutely. And it's because I think no matter who Sarah's aligned with, she has people that she's close to. Like you said, I think she's close to Zeke. I think she's close to Sierra. I think she's close to Andrea, and she might even be close to Aubrey, because in that group, it's Sierra, Zeke, Andrea, somewhere Michaela, and then there's Aubrey and Sarah. I think in that group. And I think Sarah's made a lot of good contacts in both groups. And as well, Sarah knows she doesn't really trust Debbie either, because Debbie's Debbie. So I liked Sarah had a good line right before the commercial about timing. And I just wrote a long sentence about, Survivor success has a lot to do with timing, because sometimes you have one shot to flip the vote. You have one shot to use an advantage at tribal. You got one shot to talk to someone in private. And if it's missed, your game could be completely swayed in the wrong direction.
Mm-hmm.
Now, see, David, if I had written that down, I would have gotten the song, You Only Get One Shot, Do Not Miss Your Chance. See, I would have had that ready. Come on, David.
You did
Get on the ball.
Sorry. No sound effects over here.
I was going to say something, then I got distracted by that.
Why? Because we went to the immunity challenge? Oh, sorry. Okay.
No, because I thought of the One Shot song, so it threw me off. I'm sorry, y'all. I feel like I'm about to die. Razors are in my throat, and bronchitis is coming.
Stop eating those. Let's see. So where did all the coconuts go?
In Michaela's belly.
When we come back from commercial.
Oh, I know what I was going to say.
Go ahead.
Can I go back to that? Kass,
Sure.
so you're out on the island. I'm trying to wake everybody up. Kass, you're out on the island, and 5 different people come up and tell you stuff, right? So Sarah's getting told stuff by different people. How does she know? I mean, how did she know to believe that one person over the others? How do you know?
Well, she's a cop. Thanks. She's a.
I'm sorry.
You just know. I mean, you am I cutting out?
So I missed it. You said she's a cop, and that's all I heard.
Oh, and she's looking at your tags.
Oh, yes. Sorry. Wow.
No,
I hate it whenever I make a joke and no one laughs, and you did it and no one laughed. I'm so sorry.
It's all right.
Because that was funny, yes.
But no, she's just gathering information. But to me, the trigger always is with people. Is you can say, yeah, you should do this, you should do that. But when you hear that someone has said your name,
yeah,
that is it when you're out there. If someone says, you know, let's vote out Kass, say right in front of me to someone, I might be willing to vote them out, right? So, I mean, you just see it time and time again. People get upset. They hear that their name's being floated. You're just a pawn, whatever. No, I don't want my name said. Whoever it's associated with, you immediately are skeptical of.
Right.
You know, why would Aubrey come and tell me that Debbie is telling lies? You know, is Aubrey being genius game player? I don't know. But I got to look at it, and then I got to watch everybody. So she's just watching. And then that just completely will raise your hackles when you hear someone said something about you.
Right.
So I honestly think that is what made everything happen. And then Debbie also unilaterally saying, you know, we're going to go after Andrea if the decision's made. You saw Sarah in that circle and then come and say, I wasn't spoken to.
Yeah.
Exact same thing happened to me in Cagayan with Sarah dictating. It was so much deja vu for me, just everything that was going on with people. Yeah. I mean, Sarah and Tasha sat and talked about me in front of me saying we can just vote Kass out. And I was like, I'm right here.
Wow.
You know, and then you see the circle where they're deciding, and I'm like, I don't think we should vote for Tony or LJ. We should go for Trish. Oh, we'll never vote for Trish. That's it. All of the same signs were there. Finally, you're at 11. You got a 6-5. You got one person being discounted in the 6. One person claiming control. It just, I think for Sarah, she's in that situation, and she's remembering quite accurately that the person who flipped on her was at the bottom.
Yeah.
And I think she was like, holy cow, I don't want to be at the bottom. I need to do something.
Yeah.
I had the huddle. I had the concrete huddle was my next note. And y'all just covered it very well in that it seemed like Sarah walked up to the huddle right when they were finishing the conversation. And as she was going to speak, they break. And everybody went their separate ways, and she's still standing there. And I think what y'all just covered is a really good difference between Debbie and Sarah and how they're playing. Debbie walks up to talk, inform, and dictate. Sarah walks up to listen, read your eyes, read your posture, see who you've been talking to, where your modes are going, where your thoughts are going, and then possibly respond. And I think, like you said, that's a different Sarah this year than what we saw in Cagayan. And I think I love to watch that. This is what I loved about the social camp part at camp, because you get to see how people react to things. I don't think Debbie gave hardly any, even when Aubrey went to respond, Debbie was already turning away with coconuts. Yeah. Whereas Sarah's going to sit there and stare at you until you're finished talking. She might respond, or she might just keep staring at you to see if you smile, if you wink, if you look the other way, or who walks up, you know. And there's such a contrast in the way they're playing, and that's why Debbie's a Ponderosa, and that's why I think Sarah's in a great sweet spot right now, is how she can go forward in this game.
Yeah. I think Sarah had the time to look at her prior game, analyze it, and realize the mistakes she made and make corrections, which is the real way you need to play. And she has no one she's playing with that she's played with before, so she doesn't have any past issues coming in. Tony was dispatched with quite quickly. And we all got to see the real Tony. Trust me, I spent 38 days with that, running around. And, you know, so I think Sarah is in such a good position, and she's made the right corrections. And, I mean, I'm really proud of her. She and I, you know, made up after Cagayan before our finale even then, and I've stayed in touch with her.
Yeah.
You know.
I think you said it about 2 hours ago, probably, that she was in a sweet spot coming into this game, whereas she was the loyal cop who made an aggressive move too early, and it just cost. And that's it. We didn't get to see how deep she could go, how smart she could be, how patient she could be, and empathetic she could be. We just saw that one move from a loyal young cop who really loves the game, and then she comes back this season, and she's able to do so much different. You know, Suri. They don't know Zeke, but we do.
Right.
I think you're right. She's in a really good spot coming back this time.
It's like she was naive before, and now she's much wiser.
Exactly.
You know? She got burned once. She's not going to get burned again.
Yeah.
You know?
It's like she went back and watched all the seasons again. Yeah.
Right.
And just learned.
And Bruce in the chat room says, Kass whittled this episode down to the only important fact. Whose jacket is Sarah wearing all episode? I had not noticed that. And I guess it's little things like that Kass, you bring up that shows the stuff that we don't get to see in the edit, right? We're not getting to see Sarah and Zeke do all that connecting because they're not showing it to us. But the fact that she's wearing his jacket all the time, that's really good observation. Wish I had.
Yep.
Well, that's what, you know, you got to look for. Who is sleeping next to who in the shelter? Who is, you know, hanging out together? Who's borrowing? Who's whatever? Who's sitting by each other all the time? All that stuff is more important than the snippets of editing we get.
Right.
Yeah.
And she does have her own sweatshirt. That's why I noticed, because she has an orange like hoodie, but she was wearing the members only jacket all the time.
It seemed like this whole episode they were wearing long sleeves. Like it must have been the coldest 2 or 3 days of the 39 days they were out there. Of course, it was windy at travel too. Very windy. You got something, Dwayne?
Yeah. I think one of the reasons why Sarah and Zeke maybe have it feels like this happened after the whole Varner thing, because Sarah really seemed to connect with him after that. I don't know if she was wearing his jacket before that or not, because I didn't notice that to begin with. So was she wearing it before that, Kass? All the time, or?
I don't recall. This is the first episode I've rewatched.
Okay.
So I just, on rewatch, I just noticed, like, in her first confessional, I was like, because I remembered Zeke having that members only jacket, because we all remember the members only jackets, right?
Yeah,
exactly.
Back when I was in 7th grade.
Yeah, and I remember thinking, where did Zeke find this thing?
Yeah.
And then I saw Sarah wearing it this episode repeatedly and just thought, well, that's very interesting. So I actually think they were friends before the Varner incident. And I think that's why she was so emotional when it happened.
Right.
In terms of being very defensive for Zeke and really herself we watched her process as someone from the Midwest, this whole thing where this is a person that she loves and she's come to know quite well.
Right.
I don't know if that's when she earned the members only jacket after that, but it seems that they were pretty close before.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
It's kind of like the Letterman's jacket out there, I think.
Wow. There you go.
This is a great segue, because right after the concrete huddle, Sarah goes to the one person who's always willing to make a move. She goes and talks to Zeke and lets him know how she's feeling. If you want a little bit of a push, go to the one person you know is always going to want to do the push, always going to want to make the move.
I also had a note early on in the episode that Sarah went to Zeke immediately, and she was wearing his jacket, and she smoothed over the fact that, you know, she knew Zeke was safe, but she had to vote the way she did in the prior vote. And Zeke was also very open to this. You know, and it's rare that you can kind of go in and write someone's name down and then come back and say, hey, I did this to protect us, and she handled that really well. And that was at the beginning of the episode. Then at the end, we have her flipping. So at the beginning of next episode, is she going to be able to do that same thing?
Yeah.
Which she did successfully with Zeke. Can she do that with, Culpepper and Troyzan and everyone and still maintain this position? Or will she be targeted for flipping?
This is one thing I'm loving about this season and this edit is that we're seeing someone who, socially is concrete in this concrete alliance, but she's got this super tight relationship with somebody not in her alliance from the other alliance, a core member of the other side. And she's got this relationship that we don't always get to see every season. But I think this it's really neat because it lets us know that the things are going to change. Things could change every week. And you're right. That was a great first scene to start off with. She immediately went to talk to him that night and explained to him. And Zeke's like, well, I don't really have a choice to like it or not like it, but I'm going to like it because, you're bringing it to me and I want to show how much I appreciate you bringing it to me. So that was a great conversation. And I thought great reactions on both sides.
Yeah. Again, that's a returning player thing.
Yeah.
I don't think you'd see that in a newbie season.
No,
So-
in fact, that's something that David and I have kind of. Well, David used to be of the thing of I don't like to watch returnee seasons because I like them being fresh and stuff. But as we've been watching this season, it's really grown on us. Well, it's grown more on him because he had more to grow on it because I already kind of liked the idea.
Yeah.
Or at least more than he did. But watching people that have played it before, you get better gameplay. It's like playing. It's like having to teach somebody how to play spades. In the first hour you're playing with them, it's like, okay. But then once they get good at it, how much more fun it is to play the game. So it's like when you get all these returning players coming in and they're not having to go through all that junk to learn everything. They're already in it. And it's really fun. You get to see some really good stuff going on.
Yeah, my initial reaction was I wasn't ready for another season full of returning players. But looking at this cast, there are some old school players, but there are people in this cast to me that aren't necessarily game changers, but they're people who needed to change their game. And that's what we're seeing. And that, like Dwaine said, is very refreshing, very addictive for me about this season. I'm loving how the season is evolving. I don't care who wins. Somebody's changing their game drastically, and I think it's going to be a good finish to the season. And yes, this season's grew on me very quick. And how they're playing. And like you said, I'm getting a lot more social camp time, which I love. That's my favorite part. And we're getting all these conversations from people that shouldn't be having conversations. And it's great.
Yeah.
And I love that side of it.
Well, With that being said, who do you think is changing their game the most?
Well, Sarah, for one. I think Sarah's changing. I think Culpepper's changed his game dramatically.
Yeah,
I really like Culpepper this season.
He's doing
I
completely do.
Well, looking at that side, Sierra, I think, has found herself in a more dominant position than she did before because she was just with people that were not going to let her be in that position. I don't know if it's changed for the good yet because she just put herself – it's really going to be interesting. I think this coming week is going to tell us how Sarah has changed, if she has, because she starts approaching the other alliance now, is what we saw in the preview. That's going to tell us, I think, what she's doing in that group. Debbie, I don't think changed at all. Who else is Ty is not changed. In fact, he's gone invisible. Troyzan, if anything, I think it seems like he's backed off, but that might be the edit where he's just kind of disappeared, but he's fallen into a good group. He's not in the minority, so to speak, until maybe this coming week, but we'll see. I think the more I think about it, next week, I think is really going to reveal how some of these people have changed, if they have, and we'll see how they go from. Whereas the old school people, Sari, I think, has gotten sharper. I think Andrea's gotten even better, I think, as a player. And I didn't know if that was possible, but her physical prowess as well as her social game has gotten a little bit better. Michaela, I think, has gotten worse. I hate to say it, and I think that's what you said, too fast to return.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Who else did I not cover? Aubrey. I think Aubrey has changed to the point where she's not laying back, but she's standing right beside. Some of the clips last week of her following Zeke and Sari, I think, is how she's playing this game. She's in the huddle. She's just not throwing herself into the huddle just yet. She's listening more and trying to pay attention to see what's going on. I don't know. I like Aubrey, and I hope she finds a crack where she sticks in and starts playing her game as well. I hope she doesn't just get picked off because she's an extra person.
Yeah, and actually Aubrey was surprisingly good at challenges in her original season. She won a couple immunities, and she really discovered something within herself, you know, to power through some of those challenges. So I'm hoping she can come back into that. But this is a very physical group.
Yes.
This time, I mean, you've got Ty, you've got Culpepper, you've got Michaela. Sarah's pretty fit. I mean,
Sierra's fit too. Yeah.
Sierra, Andrea. So I think for Aubrey, those are pretty tough competitors to be up against.
Right. Yeah.
But I really like her. I super rooted for her first season because, you know, we all want the girl with glasses and a teal shirt to win, right?
That's right. That's right.
There you go.
Who's on? That's right. Did I get anybody wrong? Did you disagree with anybody? I thought it's changed or not changed?
No, my two big ones were Brad and Sarah. Andrea, I honestly don't really remember her too much from her seasons for some reason. I don't know why. Oh, you know what? I think I was going through casting for her second season, when that one that Cochran won. Yeah.
What I remember from her first season was she was the first one to wake up from the sleeping medicine Boston Rob was giving everybody, and when she woke up and realized what he was doing, she got voted out of the game.
Okay,
and that was my impression of her. And
I feel like Suri is closing out her story. I feel I think personally for her, no matter what happens this season, this is it for her. I think it's too emotionally exhausting for some of these people to keep coming back and putting themselves through it. And there's a point at which you're just like, why? Why am I back here? And you realize nobody's going to let you get to the end.
Right.
Especially when you're not a physical player. So it's almost sad to watch, to me.
That's why I think we're getting the episode that we just got last night. It's because I think her story is going to be coming to an end pretty soon. It could be from Zeke. It could be from Sarah. It could be from Brad and Sierra. But I think this super sweet, awesome person I think her times, like you said, is getting ready to come to an end.
Maybe Sarah will just turn and be like, Suri totally sweet talked me.
She said criminal. She wants to play like a criminal.
Yeah.
So.
Well, people mimic the winners of their own seasons.
Yeah. I think that's true. You said that in one of your tweets. I thought that was pretty accurate. I like that. One thing that popped out at me also before they got to tribal was, even though we didn't talk about the challenge that Troyzan won. Yay, Troyzan, there you are. I knew you were there. Good job, buddy. And he also did that in Durham Warriors Survival Challenge. He didn't win it. Brooke Struck won it, but he was in that challenge. Sarah has a hard time with liars. I wrote that down. People being dishonest. And I wrote down that if she catches Andrea and Zeke talking about how they're actually still working together, that's going to be the end for Andrea and Zeke. Because I think Sarah still has relationships with this new school alliance that she could go back to them and say, look, Debbie was just a casualty of war. I'm sorry, but she was lying about me. And I can't stand that because she was a liar. But you know what? I've seen the other side, and they're nothing but conniving liars too. And I want to vote them out with you. So I asked that you would take me back, and I can't see why they wouldn't. If she's going back to their side, why not take the numbers?
Yeah, I can see that happening. I mean, if the deck is reshuffled, maybe there'll be a whole new group that emerges.
Right. So we start looking for temporary voting blocks and trust clusters and all those things that come.
Yeah, whatever Jeff wants to call them this season.
That's right. So anything else, Dwaine, or Dwaine's picture, or cash from this season? Tribal Council, right? Tribal Council. I'm trying to remember what was it. I didn't write any notes down at Tribal Council. It went so fast. I hate 1 hour episodes. I want 2 hours every week. I felt like this was a commercial of Survivor and not actually a whole episode. But anything else before we get into feedback?
Well, what I liked in Tribal Council, I think I said it already, was I liked how Sarah played her part really well in Tribal, and didn't.
That's what happens in Blindsides.
Yeah. In fact, she argued for the opposite of what she was going to do.
Right.
And Troyzan said, hey, if you can get, and that's a good point. And Dalton Ross brought this up too. I'm referencing his article again. He could see the value of both. If you're guaranteed 6, go for 6 and then fight your way to the end. Whereas Michaela said, hey, while you still got a chance, you can shake things up and not be number 6. at the same time, you could be the next one to go out, because if Sarah boasts about her move and starts joking about it and Zeke goes to the other side, Sarah could be the next one voted out. So I don't think it's going to happen. But where do you align in that cast? If you're number 6, do you patiently sit in the number 6 chair and wait till you get there and hope to get to the further, or do you do something to make a move earlier on?
Well, obviously, I flip, and it worked out.
Oh, okay.
And I mean, right?
I think that's what I would do. Yeah, but
history
Worked out exceptionally well. Yeah.
History shows that I would flip if I knew I was at the bottom. I'd go over and take my chances. And then but I think Sarah's in a different position. I don't think when she goes back to camp, she's going to get cussed out by a bunch of bitter people. I think being a returnee season, people are going to say why and how and what happened. It's a very different vibe than a first time season where people are just like, oh my God, you ruined it. No, I didn't ruin it. There's still 10 people left. Right. Get your head back in the game and play. And that was my mistake in my first season, was I assumed everyone there was playing to win and understood it was a daily game, but they didn't. And I was completely willing to flip back to my original alliance after I flipped, but no one would talk to me. Hopefully, for Sarah, it's a different situation. And she and I talked about that at length, when you flip and how you flip, and you got to really examine your position when you do it. I'm hoping she was in a good position with everybody and that she can go back and say, look, she was trying to cause trouble here for me, and then just rationalize, like we saw her do with Zeke at the beginning of the episode.
Yeah.
So I always say you got to make your move. When you have the move, everybody says it's too soon. Well, you might not get to that position again. So
it's only too soon if it doesn't work out for you.
Exactly. And I mean, I still got to the final 3, in my season doing that.
Right.
And so it can work out. It doesn't mean you're going to be targeted next.
And I think this second chance season plays into what you said about they're going to see it differently. They're not going to react like a new player might. In fact, they're going to see Sarah as possibly the only person that might come back and vote with us next tribal, because we all have relationships with her. They may not see the relationship she has with Zeke unless they're looking at the jacket, then they should know. But they might see Sarah as, once Sarah explains it like she did with Zeke, well, would you consider coming back? We understand that she said these things about you, but would you come back, because we still want you. We still care about you. We want you in our group. And I think that's another neat thing about second chance seasons, is that people will play different. They kind of have to play different.
And also the victim here of the blind side and the flip was Debbie, who I don't think a lot of people really respected. Mm-hmm. She wasn't the leader she thinks she was. She could have possibly been annoying at camp, I'm guessing. So, people might say, we were going to get rid of her anyway. We got rid of a goat. Let's play. Let's get back together and play.
Right.
So I got one more question before we get too far towards feedback. But last week, and I know you completely remember everything that happened last week, Zeke's philosophy was keep targets in front of me. Don't stand too bright because I don't want to be the next target. And then he flips on his 2 alliance mates, Suri and Andrea, 2 targets. Was that too early a move? Was that the right? I mean, what do you think was behind that, and did you agree with it?
I don't think Zeke is someone that you're worried about winning immunities or anything. Applying that meat shield philosophy when you're Zeke is probably like me applying it. Like I might be good at puzzles, but I got to get to the puzzle.
Right.
And I'm someone you can probably knock out at any time.
Yeah.
So it's usually kind of the bigger guys or the more competitive people that need to have those people who are much better than them.
Mm-hmm.
So I understand that's the recent trend, is to have these meat shields and get to the end and, cut them off at the end, but keep them to protect yourself. But I think you have to be the right player to use that.
Right. I wouldn't need a meat shield.
No,
I wouldn't. I'm sorry.
I would take one, but I'd probably eat it before day 39. So But that was that was one thing though. Oh, you meant like a person as a meal. I thought you were
that's what we're talking about.
like a steak, like a slab of steak or something. Okay.
No.
But that was one thing I loved about last season. There was so much honesty and bluntness, I thought, last season, where, especially from Adam, I love you, man, but I can't take you any further. You know, I wanted you here because you're a target. People are still watching you, but I can't take you any further. And I thought that was really refreshing last season. What'd you come out with from last season?
I have a total crush on David from last season.
You want to hear his intro again?
I heard it and it made me smile. I mean,
that was only one. We got a couple.
She knows that, David. She listens to our show.
Yeah. Well, to be honest, I've stepped back from the Survivor world quite a bit.
No, I know. I was messing with David.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm thrilled that you came. It's like she came out of the dungeon out into Survivor world again, just for a little bit for us. It's pretty awesome.
Yeah. So,
all right, David, are we almost to the feedback?
Unless y'all got anything else, I'm good. I mean, Tribal Council just blew past for me because it was becoming obvious that Debbie or one of them was going home.
So, David, I have a question for you. Can you name one thing that is more interesting than us?
The Marvel Cinematic Universe, thinking about Stranger Things season 2, watching Rockin' 1000 YouTube videos.
Okay, fine. Okay,
Stephen King novels.
Now you got me.
My food, my cooking.
When's Stranger Things coming out?
Yes. Now you got me wanting to talk about that.
You asked me was I not supposed to come up with anything?
Okay, all those things are true, but I was really thinking about our Facebook group, our Survivor Talk community.
You realize we are just a few days away from Guardians of the Galaxy 2.
Yes.
I am Groot.
This is a great year. You know what? This is a great year. You've got Guardians 2.
Yep. You got Thor Ragnarok coming out.
You have a Star Wars movie in December coming out.
Yep.
It's part 2. Are they doing an OA? Did you guys watch the OA?
I did not.
Yes, I did watch that with Britt Marlin.
I liked that one.
I loved it because it was so unique and different.
It took a bit to get into it, but I really loved it. And I hope they're doing a part 2.
I have not heard. I'm trying not to read too much into it to not be spoiled or anything by it, but I really just got into it because it was so different. It's just I never saw where it was going. I just didn't. I just was so intrigued by it. I thought it was really good.
All right.
We really enjoyed it here.
Dwayne, did you have a point you were trying to make?
So many things that are better than us, which is awesome. No, I just wanted people to go check out our Survivor Talk community because our Facebook group's really fun. And
that's fun. Yeah, that is fun.
So, and also, go to our website, stwdd.com, and you can find all those things. But also, you've got to check out Ryan Kaiser's blog on our website. Like I like to say, take a trip to Kaiser Island.
Yes.
He really does some good stuff. Good blogger. So,
one of the reasons I got out of the Survivor world was because of the blogs.
Oh, yeah?
A couple of them were just horrible.
Like, well, do you want, I don't know, David, should we ask her if she wants to name any of them or what?
As long as they don't come from the STWDD page. I'm
All right. So which one was the worst?
I can't remember the name. It was like a slice of something or.
What was it? No. Survivor by the Slice?
Like something like that. Had to do with a slice.
That's why I don't write it anymore.
Wow,
no,
David.
She's not talking about mine. No, she's not.
Survivor by the Slice. That is yours. It's from
because you had to tell her that before we got on the podcast. That's what it was. I know.
What are you talking about? I didn't.
You can't prank me. You're not Andrea and Zeke. You can't prank me.
Whatever. We had you going for a second.
That was too perfect.
How did I do? Pretty good?
You did pretty good.
You did great. Better than Dwayne. He gave it away.
Well, the last time David tried a prank, it was with him and Rob, and they pranked me really good. But David pulled out of it too quickly. And
I did. It was too. I was having too much fun. And you're right. I should. And Rob got on me. I was trying to cut her off from saying that. He's upset with me for ending it too fast.
I know. It's like, man, you're over too quickly. All right. Let's get to feedback. we don't have very much feedback this week, which is great because I feel like I need to go to bed. So I'm sorry, y'all. I feel sick.
That's all right. I'll get to reading.
All right.
You ready? So the first one is John from Ohio. Hey, D&D, and I'll say and K since she's
right. DD and K.
I have a few statements and a few questions. My first statement, excuse me, that wasn't part of the statement. Yes, I've been waiting for this for so long. Bye, Debbie. The shocked looks on Brad and Sierra's faces were priceless. My second statement, I was really impressed with Sarah this episode. I didn't really like her up until this episode, but man, she is great. She's incredibly aware. I can't believe she spotted that advantage. Also, she's rocking the cornrows sometimes, and it looks awesome.
That's a reason to like her.
Yeah, right there.
She's
she
a great
looks
player.
like a criminal. He says she looks like a criminal.
Wait, because of the cornrows? I'm not even touching that one.
No,
hey, would that work in a court of law, Cass? She has cornrows, so she looks like a criminal.
I wonder who gave her those cornrows.
See, she's always
Who did
like this.
Probably Sari.
Yeah.
Sari or Zeke.
Who was giving? Was someone giving someone cornrows earlier and then got mad at them and said, "Take them out now"?
Oh, I don't remember that.
Probably Ozzy. Sari was probably giving them to Ozzy.
No,
so
you're
Ozzy had them.
Oh.
Had them. So it just shows me that Sarah's in that group.
That's right.
I've got to start paying more attention to this kind of stuff. I just like to sit down and enjoy it. And y'all are just like showing me all kinds of stuff I should be paying attention to.
That's because you were still thinking about why is Sari in this challenge?
I was.
You were still on that.
What the heck?
I know. That was my first thought too, but I did write down she was a cat and I just didn't comprehend it. So getting back to John's feedback. She looks like a criminal. It's what she wanted, right? I dig it. So I have a few questions that I'd like to get your opinions on. Does Michaela deserve ridicule for not spotting that advantage?
Yes.
I'm not so sure she does. I like that twist idea though. So does she deserve ridicule? You say yes?
Yes, but only because she was laying around and being so dramatic about her sitting outness and the behavior she was exhibiting. Yeah. And she called everyone bitches.
Right. But is that what caused her to not see it though?
Yeah, her own ego and her own hurt made her just sit there and kind of mock everyone. She probably had an hour out there.
Yeah, but what are you going to do? I mean, are you saying that if she wasn't doing that, she would have been looking around? I mean,
in this age of Survivor, where at challenges things are hidden.
Yeah.
Aren't you going to look around a little?
Well, okay.
And the bench,
Yeah.
What does it hurt? Like jump in the water, swim around your floaty there because you're on one on your own.
Yeah.
In the water, like you have nothing better to do. You've already called everyone a name. You're not rooting for anyone.
Right. So it's kind of like after the merge feast where Ty and who was that? Brad had to go sit out. David and I were both like, "Where's the idol? Where's the clue? Where's the secret advantage?" So, yeah.
You know what they should have done?
The idols.
Since there were 2 buffs sitting on the log, they should have wrapped it in one of the buffs. That would have been so. Then whatever buff you pick, you get lucky or you don't. Then you got to decide what if you want to pull it out of that buff and show it to the person. But to answer that thought, Dwayne, I think had she not been in that mood, she would have went back to thinking about the game. Where does this put me? How does this put me? And that's when you start not paying attention to the challenge and start thinking about the game. And then she might have glanced at that point. She was probably not the best view of it. Like Sarah had a great view of it. But if once you start getting into that attitude of I'm just going to let them have it with mockery, then she's not thinking about the game.
Yeah.
And if you think about the game, you might think what Cass thought and think there might be something here. She might start staring at the whole challenge, looking for for an advantage.
Or I mean, even if your mind is thinking there may be something there and you go to tie your shoe, then you might see it. But if you're just like tying your shoe and you're not expecting anything, then you may not see it. So I see what y'all are saying. If she was at all in the game, she would have at least been aware enough to have seen it if she even glanced near it.
She was like lounging like a swimsuit model on the bench and stuff. Yeah. She was so into herself and
for
her
the
own
camera.
Yeah.
So
if she had had food, she would have been eating it.
Yeah, she should have jumped in the water and caught some fish.
There you go.
That's right. All right. Question number 2. Was Debbie the right target here, or was there a better target, meaning Sierra? Arguments could be made for both sides. Was Debbie the right target here?
It worked.
I think Debbie, it worked for me. It worked for the viewers. I think Sarah wants to keep Sierra as an option, right? And if you get rid of Sierra, you kind of burn the bridge with Brad and Troy.
Right.
Yes.
Because they're a known tight 3. So Debbie, everyone kind of like can't stand and doesn't take seriously. So she's kind of just fodder, you know, and she was going to be fodder down the road or be a goat. So I think she's a great person to do this too.
Yeah, and plus her
because no one's going to.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I mean, no one's super tight with Debbie. Nobody's like, it's me and Debbie. We're BFFs. So you're not really offending anyone. And no one's going to take it personal.
Right. And I also feel like her and Sierra have that, whether it's a real relationship or not, I feel like if she were to be in a position where Sierra could see this as, okay, I can go with Sarah because Sarah's doing well. I think that would happen with Sierra. It may not happen with Debbie. So
yeah.
Yeah. No, I think Debbie would not take the blind side well if it were anyone but her. So I think it was a good move, really. It's someone that nobody likes, tight with.
Right.
You know,
it's going to cause the least amount of pain going forward.
Yeah. You know, I think it could have been, I guess you could have gotten rid of probably, or Michaela as well, if they were in the, you know, if either of them were in a power position.
Right.
So Debbie.
Can I come sit on your couch, please?
Do you like that?
I wish I had a couch.
He's standing up in pain and tired, and he's watching you sit on a leather couch.
I stand during the show. I don't sit down.
Oh, wait, let me just.
I will show y'all.
Let me just put my feet up here.
Oh, thank you. Thank
you.
you.
I got the feet up.
In a nice leather couch. How'd you get that? How'd you get that couch in your trailer, Kass? I just don't. Just kidding.
No. It's a pretty good trailer.
My wife did buy me this, but this is what it's like when I sit on it. Are y'all ready? All right, here we go.
Well.
Hello.
I mean, I was sitting on a small leather chairs before, so you know.
Oh, there's a table David loves.
Yeah, that's right. There's a poker table.
The poker table.
Right.
Let's
so
see.
one final comment just to add to what, agreeing with what y'all are saying is she could always say to Sarah, "Hey, they wanted to vote Brad."
And look at this.
So
the giant gun safe because we're in Texas.
That's right.
Anyway.
We have those here in Virginia because I moved my old bosses one time. So his next question, is it possible that Michaela was the one who swayed Sarah to vote for Debbie? Sarah said before Tribal that she was going to decide what to do at Tribal. Michaela was the last one to speak before the vote, and I love what she said, boo-boo the fool. What a wordsmith Michaela is. So is it possible that Michaela's words tipped the scale for Sarah because Sarah looked like what Michaela said affected her? And I would say no.
We've already addressed that. No.
No.
Yes.
But he's still on
question.
the Michaela. People need to get off the Michaela train.
I like watching her do those snappy stuff.
See, it frustrates me because I coach girls that do that, and it just frustrates me.
All right,
and I enjoyed. Yeah,
I enjoyed watching Chaos Kass when everybody was irritated at her too. Right?
Yeah, but she wasn't acting like that. She was stirring things up.
Kass, you be nice.
Aubrey gave the double birdie.
Actually,
right?
The double blur.
Yeah, but at me, that was not nice. No, but I'm not saying that you're like Michaela.
Yes, you did.
No, I did not.
You did. We got it on tape.
I actually never was like, you're all bitches and pouty or anything.
She didn't eat coconut popcorn at Tribal and anything like that.
But still, there were people.
I did flip people off occasionally, but in second chances, I just flipped people off because I told people I was going to.
And Kass antagonized in the game. She didn't sit on a bench and pout and call people names. There was nothing about what Michaela did on that bench that was in the game, in my opinion.
I was not comparing Kass to Michaela.
You said Kass right after you said Michaela, so I presume that you were okay. All right, we'll go on to the next question. Is Michaela's bag of snacks at Tribal amazing or annoying at this point? I find it amazing. Management is horrible, though. We've also talked about that.
Yes.
They don't show a lot of why everyone hates her, but man, people do not like her for some reason. I love her. Okay.
Yeah.
Everybody,
Bruce, we've already talked about it.
That's John,
Bruce,
actually, but yes.
No, Bruce says, can we please talk about the eating, drinking thing at Tribal? And I said, already done. Well, we did that at the beginning of this episode, too.
Yeah. Next question. Were you surprised that Michaela was the one? He really does like Michaela. Were you surprised that Michaela was the one left out of the schoolyard pick?
I was.
Yeah. We were until we realized Suri was the captain.
Well, okay, but see, I think I would have picked her over Zeke. There's others I would have.
But you know what? I think Michaela was right. They picked for alliance. They didn't pick for strength.
Yeah.
So you want to take somebody with you. So Haley was the first juror on Worlds Apart and Game Changers. Ozzy was the second juror on Micronesia and Game Changers. Debbie was the third juror on Ko-Rong and Game Changers. Coincidence? Is there a person left who was the fourth juror at some point in their Survivor career? If so, they may be in trouble.
Well, is Mike in the chat
I looked up.
room?
Sierra was actually the fourth jury member on her season, but she's already gone. So I'm sorry. The other Sierra, Easton.
Oh, yeah.
He was.
Man, I was getting excited.
Further along, yeah.
I was thinking you were saying Serene. I was going, oh, that'd be awesome.
No. So let's see. After that, he goes, P.S. That emotional moment, if it was strategic, was a genius move by Suri. The music in that moment was incredible. They really stepped up their music game this season. I love it.
Yeah, that's kind of like the running joke I have with Adam Klein, that he faked being stuck underneath the log. Right? I know he didn't, but I love to joke with them about it and say it every time we talk to him. So it'd be kind of funny to tell Suri, yeah, we know you were faking getting up on that thing. You could have just hopped right up there.
You heard the music coming from the boat. We knew you were playing to it.
Probe said, hey, act like you can't get up.
You've already lost the challenge. So PPS, I almost forgot about Aubrey. Did you notice the eye roll to the camera after Debbie walked away?
Yes, we did.
Yes.
And the middle finger to that alliance. Yes, we did. So awesome. Aubrey is amazing. PPPS. Oh, go ahead.
Wait. So when Aubrey gives double middle fingers, it's amazing.
But when you do it.
But when I do it, it's classless and horrible.
See, that's Dwaine, what I'm saying.
Why are you comparing her, Dwaine?
When I flip from my 6 because I'm on the bottom, I'm Chaos Kass. I'm horrible, the worst player, 0 chance of winning. When Sarah does it, getting a winner's edit.
Wow.
That's what I was saying. Whenever everybody was hating on Kass, I loved it.
Well, even Sarah did tweet last night that hate it. You know,
I guess Kass was right. Yeah, I guess Kass was right because I just did the Kass move.
Yeah.
Yep, she sure did.
She did because she knew it.
She probably was thinking about you whenever she did it. She's probably thinking, okay, this is going to make the air because, you know.
She was. That's
what she meant.
When she came back, that's one of the first things she told me. She said, I am exactly what you did.
That's awesome.
Same reasons, everything.
Yeah.
He wraps up. I don't remember liking Andrea this much in her prior seasons. She's great. And the final PPPPS, who was your, we got like 4 emails from John. Who's your ideal final 3? I want to see Michaela, Suri, and either Aubrey or Andrea. John, that's 4. You're supposed to pick 3. Who do y'all want to see in the final 3?
It doesn't matter. Whoever's there.
Well, I want to see my girl, Sarah. The people I'm liking their gameplay, I'd love to see Suri get there. But I just feel like it was so forced last night, like a goodbye, you know.
Yeah.
I was rooting for Ozzy because everybody wants Ozzy to win eventually.
Everybody? Okay. No.
Well, if Boston Rob can do it, why not Ozzy?
Right.
Ozzy
right.
is not Boston Rob. I don't know Boston Rob, but Ozzy is not Boston Rob.
I've
But go
met
ahead.
Boston Rob, and he is no Boston Rob.
No, I have not.
No, I have not either.
So you got
Sorry, that's
Sarah.
an old presidential debate
Well,
reference.
I'm liking how Brad's playing. I'm liking the people who are evolving their games.
Mm-hmm.
So, but then I also feel like Ty's got, 2 idols in his pocket, and no one seems to be throwing his name out. So he could go super deep, and he is really good at challenges.
Yeah.
So,
like,
I mean, my ideal.
Yeah, your ideal 3. Who's your ideal? While you're thinking about it, I'll say I'd like to see Sarah, Aubrey, and maybe like Andrea. I think all 3 could make arguments at that point. I think they're all articulate, and I think that would make for an interesting final 3.
Well, we haven't seen a women's final 3, in a while, so that would be great. And all women, but we're not hearing any talk of a women's alliance this season at all.
Maybe that's because there is one.
And that's right. They don't want to be too obvious about it. Good point, Dwayne.
I'm just look. I mean,
because we're paying attention.
Maybe it is because they're not. Yeah. For me to pick my ideal 3, I would literally. I take that from the other end. I'm like, sorry. I'm like, who do I not want to see at final 3? I gotta work myself backwards. Yes. I'm just gonna shut up.
Well, I'd like.
All right, go ahead, Kass.
I'll tell you what I don't want to see from the other end. Go ahead.
Oh yeah, like whenever Debbie leaned over, she was talking to Aubrey, and she leaned over, and the cameraman didn't move the camera. I did not appreciate that, Mr. Cameraman.
He probably sneezed. He didn't realize he was still filming. Go ahead, Kass.
I don't know what I was going to say. I'm hoping there's no goats. It'd be nice if we had a close vote with no goats.
Well, it's almost getting to the point. I mean,
really?
There could be a season. There could be it could be likely that there be a final 3 without a goat.
There's just a few people they need to get rid of to make that happen. Really.
Yeah.
There's really just 2 people, in my opinion, that don't have a shot right now. So.
Yeah. Well, all right, David. It's my turn, isn't it?
John from Ohio. Yep, you got Dave from New Jersey.
All right, Dave from New Jersey. Dave, I'm going to do my best to not sneeze, cough, or sniffle or yawn during your feedback. All right. Oh, I almost yawned just then. Dave from New Jersey.
I just yawned.
I know, it's because I said it. I'm sorry.
I know.
Yeah. Poor Cassie's like, I'm trying to stay awake, but Dwayne keeps yawning. All right.
It's a school night.
Some rapid fire New Jersey observations from this week's episode. If you are on a season with Michaela and she breaks out drinks or snacks at Tribal, be very, very worried. Good job, Dave.
Good point.
I agree. David, am I correct that Troy Zan recently competed in the exact same balancing table challenge in Maine at the Durham Warriors Survival Challenge when you played? Now that is cool.
Yes, he did that, but I was no longer playing at that point in the game. I was watching.
Kass, I don't know if you know this, but David, one of his claims to fame, not being born in a specific state like someone in the previous season, but his specific claim to
what
fame
I've been framed for
is that he beat Troy Zan in a challenge at the Durham Warriors Survival Challenge.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yes.
Although he didn't wear the spandex shorts as nicely as Troy Zan did.
I didn't wear them at all.
All right.
And for that, you are welcome.
Yes. It appears that Kass is like, hurry up. It appears that with Sarah switching sides that the new majority alliance of 6, Cerise, Zeke, Andrea, Aubrey, Sarah, Michaela, holds a dominant position over the other 4, Brad, Sierra, Ty, Troyzan, unless someone in the 6 try to shuffle the deck, as the preview appeared to show Zeke doing. The interesting thing is that the minority alliance of 4 has 3 idols. Perhaps they can use them or the threat of them to change things up. Adios, Dave Holdsworth.
If that was coming, we would have gotten an amazing tribal council like you've never seen before. So I think things are going to get shuffled up before the idols start coming out.
All right. Or Ty's going to forget he has them and leave him with he forgot they were idols and he gave them to the chickens for something.
Oh, He used them or something to tie the chicken to the tree.
Yeah.
Why does that rope tie have a medallion on it? That's good. Okay. All right. So Bart from South Carolina says, D&D, it has been a while. Sarah. It's like these people have never watched a single episode. Debbie was never going to win Survivor. Why vote that way? We must ask former survivors this question. Why do you not see threats that are right in front of you? Well, for one, they're not watching the same edit that we're watching, but I get his point. There are 3 people on the season that if they are at the end, they win. Those 3 are Cherie, she gets a sympathetic vote, mom vote. Zeke, he gets a sympathetic story vote. You know he will use it. And Ty, everyone likes Ty. So why are you voting out people that will not win? You might want to address that. We cover that. Okay. All right. Okay, that all being said, at least she made it interesting. And before you all start thinking I am a Debbie fan, I have been waiting for her to go since day one. It may just be me, but Cuckoo only works on TV when TNT plays One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest.
I've never watched that movie.
Oh, you should. It's a good movie. Michaela, always eating, always grumbling, always whining, always with a terrible attitude. Is anyone else ready to see her go? We all know. Yes, I mean, we all know she is not going to win. Talk about a 0 chance of winning. Her terrible attitude has gotten on everyone's nerves, it appears. That and the fact that she missed that advantage right at her feet. She was so busy sulking and whining about not being chosen that she decided to pout. Her go down this way. She continues to choose to be the poor sport. At this point, I don't have a favorite to win since Malcolm and JT were gone so early. Here's hoping that the next 4 weeks are fun. 4 weeks and 10 people left. Let's hope that it gets wild. Bart, Columbia, South Carolina.
Only 4 weeks?
Yeah, we only got like 5. We had 5 episodes left, so we only got 4 now.
Man, and when they find out we had Jessica last week, Kass this week, and we have 2 really good guests coming up.
Are you getting Tony?
No, I actually reached out to Tony. He didn't reach back. I think he reached back to David.
Season. I think it's because he's in season. That one. Come on.
Oh, was he in this season?
Oh, that deserves another one.
She tossed it. I set it up. She spiked it back in.
Yeah.
I barely noticed.
All right, Stephen from Liverpool. This is the perfect length, Kass. Hi, D&D. Steve from Liverpool. No, I'm kidding. All right. This is going to be quick. Thank God that Debbie is gone and I love Michaela. I promise to do a long one day when time differences are not a thing. From Liverpool, Steve.
Good work, Steve.
Yeah.
Thanks, Steve.
Yeah. All right. We only have one more feedback, and it is from Mir I Am. And Mir I Am is in the chat room. So here we go. And then we're almost done, Kass. And you can go to bed and get ready for school tomorrow. Here we go. Mir I Am.
Hi, Dwaine, David, and Queen Chaos Kass. This is Mir I Am, also known as Vader Girl. I'm calling from Edmonds, Washington. I'm loving the show still a Survivor fan. Last night's episode was just okay. I mean, it wasn't too exciting or razzle-dazzle. I guess I can say I'm glad Debbie went home, but I did love Debbie. I think she's very good TV. She's fodder for a lot of laughs, and she's very smart, and she's in that stereotype of the older kooky woman, which I don't like to always see people edited as negatively. When you see a lot of with the female characters, even Monica Culpepper got somewhat of a negative edit. Even Tina Wesson sometimes. I just sometimes don't like to see the negative edits of women, especially women who are older than the 21-year-olds. Just like I think Kass can comment a lot on this, but I did think Debbie was hysterical. Sad to see her go, but I'm, glad it wasn't Andrea. And I think Andrea's great. I'm still a huge fan of Siri. I'm glad she over Suri. And every time I say Siri, which is the wrong pronunciation of her name because it's Suri, but every time I say Siri, my phone answers back and starts interrupting conversations. I don't know if anybody's iPhone does that. So don't mispronounce her name because your iPhone will answer you back rudely. But she's great. I'm glad she overcame her struggle. I still think Suri is getting possible winners at it. The people who I think are probably winning is Sarah, Brad, and Suri. I think they're all getting a somewhat of a winner's edit. I'm assuming Sarah wins because it seems like she's now found the clue. She's getting very much a very good hero edit, and she seems to be doing really great gameplay. Though she's got like Ghost Force Tony Vlankos on her side because apparently she is lying on her children's names and she's lying on her badge and she's doing a lot of moves that Tony Vlankos taught her in his game that he won. So it's interesting that she's doing as well as she is by using the power of the Force, the Tony Vlankos Ghost Force. Love you, Tony. Anyway, so thank you guys. Really enjoy the show and have a great day. Stay healthy, stay blessed. Black cats and kale for life and lots of water. And may the force be with you always. Peace.
I still don't know why she eats black cats and kale. I don't get it, Miriam.
Is that Max Dawson's girlfriend?
No.
Oh,
no.
Because he's into black cats and kale.
No. Miriam's in the chat room every single week, and she loves black cats and she loves kale. But Miriam, his name is not Vlankos. Right?
Right.
It's Vlakos or Vlachos.
Nachos, like nachos.
Yeah. So Miriam, whenever Cass was doing this, it wasn't at you, it was at Tony.
Yeah. It was 100% directed at as America finally got to see one of the most bumbling, idiotic production gives you idols winners of all time.
All right. As always, the views expressed on the show. I'm just kidding. Oh, man. Well, good feedback tonight. We normally do this. But we don't have any new iTunes reviews. However, our YouTube videos are getting nearly 1,000, getting close to getting 1,000 views. Our audios get a lot more than that now. Woo!
Wow.
But, so people are starting to put comments in YouTube, but we don't read them on here. But still, so if you want to see what people say about that, you can go on there. There's usually some conversations going on YouTube. So anyway, no iTunes reviews, but we do have one more thing to do, Cass, and that is David last week gave us an incredible word of wisdom. And so I'm looking forward to whatever his word of wisdom is this evening as I set him up with a fast slider that he may not be able to hit.
So you're asking me now for my thought for this?
Yeah.
I was waiting for you to finish your sentence. I didn't know how far you were going to pitch that. My thought for this week is, if you don't like your hand, reshuffle the deck and deal again.
Really?
That's it.
I liked your one last week a whole lot.
Of course you did, because you gave it to me. Because if you don't like your friend's thoughts, then give them a thought. So.
Hey, can flippers ever win?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Can chaos reign supreme? Yes.
Yes. And every time we talk to Dan, he still insists that he's right, and we still insist that he's wrong. So, but anyway.
I think that's the story of Dan's life.
Okay. All right. Well, Cass, remember, we're going to sign off the show. We'll stop our recording after we're off the air, so don't hang up until I know you're
going to make you
that
suffer
bed's
for
calling you.
1 minute.
Man, I know that bed's oh man, guys, I bought some bamboo sheets. It's like laying in heaven every night. You know, it's amazing. All right. Anyway, so
yes. It's part of Survivor, right? You sleep on bamboo.
Yes,
why is this thing is still up?
Goodness gracious, girl. She is so cute.
It is 10 o'clock
10
here.
o'clock. She needs to go to bed.
Her father was in charge of bedtime, and this is what happened.
Yeah.
Wait till you.
All right. Well, everybody, thank you for listening. Thank you, Cass, for being on the show. It was really nice of you to come out of your Survivor hiatus and be on the show with us. Thank you very much. Do you have any final words before David says goodbye and I say goodbye?
No, thanks for having me. And I'm going to go back into my cave of, hiding from Survivor things for a while.
Wow, that makes me feel very special. Thank you.
I think it's just much more healthy, you know?
Yeah.
So.
It's healthy not to have a good dose of us every single week. I agree. No, I know what you mean. You got all that, you're talking about getting off of social media and stuff like that, because you got to get on with stuff.
Yeah, my life's moving forward. So I'm happy to do these things every once in a while, but I really had to get that check, that personal, just get off all the stuff and go back. And it's much nicer to just go watch the show every week and not really care what other people think.
Yeah.
So,
and then it makes the occasional time when you do something like this more enjoyable for you because it's not a chore.
Yeah, it's not something I think about all the time.
Right.
So,
well, thank you for letting us be a show that you did that with. So
yeah, well, I'm glad you guys are doing so well because now we've been together a couple of years.
Yeah. Well, you probably haven't heard this, but in literally a course of 2 months, we went from during the break, we had our first ever 20,000 download month. And that was during like January when it wasn't even showing. So people were watching our previous episodes. And then from then on, it's been 30,000 a month. We've never done that well. It's incredible.
Wow.
Yeah. I'm talking about audio downloads. It's crazy. So I don't know what's happening, but
hey, keep it up, man.
More people are listening, which is fine with us. So, well, thank you, everybody. David, thanks for leading the show tonight. I appreciate it.
My pleasure. And my final word is good night, Gracie. Go study. Finals are coming.
That's right. Bye, everybody.
Bye.